Tired of being in quarantine, Aiden is filming a video for his camera. He apologizes and says he's done trying before getting a rope ready to die by suicide. This whole terrible thing started a month and a half ago. When Aiden wakes up, the woman he spent the night with has already left. He goes to the bathroom to get ready and finds a note from his parents with a check for rent. He hears yelling and banging in the hall, but he just figures it's the neighbors being loud again. He turns on the TV and it's an emergency broadcast. Suddenly, there are sirens and screams coming from the street. Aiden runs to his balcony and sees a smoking helicopter crash into a building. People are running everywhere. A lost girl asks for help, but then she and a man jump on an old person and kill them. A military jet flies overhead, and a terrified Aiden rushes back into his apartment just as his neighbor, Brandon, comes in. Brandon says his roommate, who he's known his whole life, suddenly attacked him. On TV, a man explains that a new virus is out there that turns people into flesh-eating zombies. It spreads through blood, mostly from bites and scratches. The TV goes to static before he can say more. Aiden realizes that Brandon was wounded, so he grabs a knife to protect himself. The yelling and pounding in the hallway continue. Brandon's eyes start to bleed and his face begins to change. Aiden forces him to leave and has to run to push the door closed because Brandon finally goes crazy, trying to get back in to attack him. After a lot of work, Aiden locks the door and looks through the peephole. He's shocked to see people eating each other in the hallway. He quickly backs away and tries to calm down. The TV says the virus is taking over the world and tells people to stay home. Aiden starts drinking and tries to call his family, but the phone lines are dead. He eventually gets some old texts from his father. One says he and his mom were coming to see him but hadn't heard from his sister. Another text apologizes for not making it and tells him to stay alive. The last one is from his mom telling him to call, but when he tries, the lines still don't work. Aiden falls apart and spends most of the day crying and just staring at the world. Later, he starts counting the days of the pandemic, writing notes to himself on sticky notes. He can't stop thinking about his dad and the time they spent together. On day 6, Aiden starts moving things around his apartment, wanting any kind of change. On TV, experts talk about how being in quarantine is affecting people's minds. On day 7, he tries to record a video log, but people are still screaming and attacking each other in the hallway. The terrifying noises ruin the video. Aiden tries to explain how the non-stop noise has affected him, but he just closes his computer. On day 14, Aiden covers all his windows so he doesn't have to see the city, but he keeps the news on. The experts have named the zombies screamers because they repeat the last words they said before they turned. Aiden keeps drinking and ignores anyone who bangs on his door. On day 16, Aiden realizes he has no water and throws things in anger. He knows he should go out for supplies or try to find his family, but he's too scared because he can still hear people dying outside. Aiden reads that not having new experiences can make people see things, so he tries to stay busy by playing guitar or working out. But he gets so upset that he breaks a mirror. One night, he hears noises in the bathroom and grabs his baseball bat. He quickly hides when he sees that a screamer has gotten into his apartment through the vents. The woman keeps repeating no as she looks around. Aiden waits for the right time to get behind her and hit her with his bat. The screamer falls to the floor, and Aiden has to deal with having killed a person. After throwing the body off the balcony, he puts a surfboard under the bathroom vent to block it. On day 42, Aiden records another video log while still hearing screaming outside. He says he's losing his mind and is too scared to leave. In 3 days, he'll start to starve, so he needs to find supplies. His phone suddenly rings, and Aiden hears a voicemail from his parents. They were stuck at the office and couldn't get in touch with him or his sister. The message cuts off as a screamer finds and kills them. Hearing his parents die causes Aiden to have his biggest breakdown yet. Desperate, he grabs his bat and leaves the apartment. He finds Brandon on the floor repeating, "I'm okay." Aiden gets ready to hit him, but he can't do it. Just then, a group of screamers try to attack him, so he quickly moves to get away and runs as fast as he can. Since the screamers are blocking his way, Aiden goes down the stairs to the lower floor and waits for some of the faster ones to pass before he goes into the hallway. He pushes away anyone who tries to attack him and eventually gets to the other stairs. He climbs them to get back to his floor. Now he can get to his apartment from the other side. He quickly pushes his fridge against the front door to block it. He looks through the peephole and sees the screamers looking for him. A moment later, he hears a loud noise, and the power in his apartment goes out. He looks out the window and sees that the whole city has no power. He spends the night dreaming about his family, and in the morning, he wakes up to the sounds of screamers in the hall. Tired of it all, Aiden decides to die by suicide, but he stops when he sees a healthy woman in an apartment across the way. After that, he records his last video log because his phone battery is low. He says he has met a girl. He cuts his beard and makes a plan to contact her, hoping to help. When he goes to his balcony, he sees that there are screamers in the woman's building too, and he quickly hides. Still wanting to make contact, he writes messages on signs and holds them up for her to see. He learns her name is Eva. She's alone, and she doesn't have much left to eat. She has to close her curtains when she hears screamers, but she agrees to talk to him later. That night it starts raining, so Aiden puts a bunch of pots outside to collect water before washing up and shaving. He doesn't know that Eva watches him for a few seconds. The next day, Aiden and Ava use signs to make a plan. They connect their balconies with rope, and he sends her some water bottles. Just then, a screamer starts climbing Ava's building. As he gets close, Aiden throws a glass bottle at his head and starts banging on his railing to get the guy's attention. That screamer starts climbing Aiden's building instead, while another one bangs on the front door so hard that the fridge starts to move. Eva also throws things, but Aiden keeps the screamer's attention on him until the guy reaches his balcony. Aiden goes back into his apartment and locks the balcony door before rushing to push the fridge back against the front door. The screamer outside starts banging on the window to break it, but the wound makes him fall down. Aiden uses the chance to run back outside and beat him up with the bat. Now there's blood on his shirt, so he quickly takes it off. A moment later, Aiden gets a bag ready and leaves his apartment to get Brandon's keys from his body. Screamers appear in the hallway, so Aiden lies down on the floor and pretends to be dead until they are gone. Then he goes into Brandon's apartment, closing the door just as the screamers reach him. Inside, there's blood on the walls and a body on the bed. Aiden takes the few food supplies he can find and is surprised to see some climbing equipment, but the axe is missing. He checks the bedroom and finds it under the bed. Just then, a screamer comes out of the bathroom. Aiden pushes him against a mirror and tries to run, but the screamer tackles him into the wall. Aiden grabs a lamp and hits him a few times to get him off, falling onto the bed, where the body is waking up too. The screamer jumps on him and fails to bite him through his clothes, giving Aiden time to grab the axe and finally kill him. After killing the screamer on the bed too, Aiden takes all the climbing equipment and tries to leave, but the hallway is full of screamers. He carefully moves around and gets away from a screamer at the last second to get back to his apartment, where he immediately takes off all his dirty clothes. When he checks the climbing equipment, he's happy to find 2 walkie-talkies. Aiden then ties some sheets to his balcony to climb down and safely gets to the ground, where he sees eaten bodies. There are also running screamers, so Aiden sneaks around and quickly throws a walkie-talkie to Eva's balcony before running to climb back to his place. The next morning, Eva calls Aiden. They are both so happy to finally talk to each other that they spend the rest of the day chatting about anything and everything. With new hope, Aiden decides to look for supplies again, this time going through the vents. He's scared by a zombie face, but it's just a dead screamer. He gets into the bathroom of another apartment and sees blood on the side of the bathtub, but when he moves the curtains, he finds it empty. He checks every room, and after making sure he's alone, he opens a cupboard and is happy to find a lot of food. Aiden has a snack before calling Ava to tell her the good news. He's so excited that he's already making plans for them to escape and find their families. Eva explains that screamers are at her wall every day and she's tired of it. She has made a rope out of sheets, just like he did, and wants to move to his building. Things get tense when Aiden finds the fridge is against the front door, which means someone lives there. He checks a door he hadn't seen before and finds a hole in the wall. Suddenly, an old man named Edward appears in the kitchen with a weapon he made. He puts it down when he sees that Aiden isn't a screamer and explains that he came from another apartment through the hole weeks ago. The owner had died by suicide in the bathtub, and Edward threw the body in the hall. The old man shares some meat he cured himself and lets Aiden take food from the cupboard. They talk about being lonely and having to kill other people to survive. When Aiden turns to get more food, Edward hits him with his bat and knocks him out. A few minutes later, Aiden wakes up in Edward's bedroom, where he is keeping his infected wife. Edward wants to use him as food for her, but his wife won't attack an unconscious body, so he tied Aiden up and waited for him to wake up. He wants Aiden to take some medicine to avoid pain, and Aiden thinks he did this to their neighbor. But Edward says he really found the man dead in the tub, but his wife wouldn't eat him, so he had to feed her his 2 dogs. Suddenly, Eva yells on the walkie-talkie, and Edward goes to check the noise. Aiden struggles against the bed until he breaks it and gets free. Then he pulls Edward back into the room until he becomes his wife's dinner. When he picks up the walkie-talkie, Eva tells him the screamers have gotten into her place. Aiden immediately runs out of the apartment, and the screamers chase him down the hall. He can't get into his own place because of the fridge, so he goes into Brandon's instead. He looks outside and sees Eva hiding on her balcony, while the screamers bang on the glass doors. Very carefully, Aiden jumps from Brandon's balcony to his own, and now he can use the sheets to climb down. But the sheets slip and he falls, landing painfully on a chair. The noise gets the attention of a screamer who quickly comes after him. Aiden finds a gun next to a body and grabs it to shoot the man in the head. As screamers jump from other balconies, he shoots another enemy to clear the way. Eva throws her sheets down, and Aiden starts climbing, but so does a screamer. Aiden has to jump onto another balcony and cut the sheets to make the screamer fall. Now, Eva can climb down to meet him on the lower floor, and they hug tightly. They go inside the apartment and screamers come in when they open the door, but they run past them and lock the door, leaving them inside. There are more creatures in the hallways, so they run to the stairs, and Aiden breaks the door handle with his bat. A zombified man on the stairs can barely move, so they decide not to hurt him and go to the next floor. When they open the door, two screamers tackle Aiden against the wall. Eva pushes one down the stairs, but unfortunately, Aiden and the other screamer fall too. The screamer tries to bite Aiden until Eva kills him with the axe. Then the two of them run as fast as they can down the hallway, hitting and pushing off all the screamers who try to attack them. This hallway connects both buildings, and Eva manages to get into Aiden's apartment, but he is jumped on by the screamer who has been outside his door the whole time. This terrifying man tries to reach inside, but Aiden manages to pull him back and finally kill him. After that, Aiden goes into his apartment and starts taking off his clothes. Thinking he's been bitten, he goes to the balcony to die by suicide, but when he takes off his last shirt, he sees he has no wounds. They don't have time to celebrate because screamers are at the door, so they rush to push the fridge against it while promising to work together to survive. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below, and if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.